Okay, I started out as a teacher and got part of a reduction in force, a RIF. And so I wanted to translate what I had learned as a teacher into helping in the international field. So I started some information interviews with people in government, people in the private sector, and I found out a ton of information. I found that almost every government department had a small office or a large office that worked on international affairs, and that was where I really wanted to end up. I got through probably 70 or so information interviews, and as I went on, I got contacts with people who were very helpful. Several of them called me with more information than they had initially given me in the interview. They had found something, or they had thought of something that they hadn't mentioned before. Several keys, I think, to being successful, and I ultimately was. I got the greatest job ever. But in the meantime, I think several keys to this are to be really well organized, to follow up immediately with a letter and a thank you note that includes parts of what your conversation had covered in the interview. So usually I did 3 paragraphs. Thank you for your time. Second paragraph would be, as you and I discussed, blah, 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 blah. Third, thanks again for your time, and I hope to stay in touch with you. And that part, the staying in touch part, I would often consider as part of the interview itself. So I would ask them, could I stay in touch? And most of the time they had no problem with that, and I did stay in touch. I also made it a point to not leave that interview until I had at least 2 other names of people that I could use their name as a reference point to contacting these 2 new people. And I also was interested in a salary range. And that was very helpful when I finally did land a job. I knew approximately what my skills, my background, and my education could offer as far as what the salary range should be. I ultimately worked in the private sector for a couple of years and then moved into a government position and ended up with a lot of international travel, which I loved, and contacts throughout the world, which was a great source of joy to me. I loved working with the folks that I met through my job, and the information interviews got me to where I wanted to be.